Welcome to The Localist, a podcast where we talk about the highs and lows of building community through small business. I'm your host, author of the Localist book, Carrie Rollwagen. The Localist is sponsored by Infomedia. Infomedia is a web strategy company where I work as senior vice president. At Infomedia, we help small businesses get big results online. Today, we are talking about how to get better photo and video. So we kind of run the gamut. We talk about how to get better video from your smartphone if you're just kind of DIYing this for a personal brand, or if you're a marketing manager with very little budget. And we also talk about how to have a full-scale photo shoot if you're doing that for your business, how to get the best results from each. Our guests today actually work with me here at Infomedia. They are Katey Beck and Taylor Davis, who are producers in our photo video arm of Infomedia called Infomedia Studios. I always go to Katey and or Taylor when I have questions. I feel like they're my secret weapon as far as like, what should I wear in a podcast? How do I not look awkward on camera? Anything like that. So I'm really happy to be able to share their expertise with you too. I loved this conversation and I guarantee you're going to love it too. Welcome.
Thank you.
The reason I wanted to have you on today, first of all, because I just like talking to you. And you're both so busy. Whenever I come by the office, you're just like on set.
Yeah,
not helpful for me.
Yeah, constantly.
But really because so many people who listen to this podcast are either business owners or they're trying to build their personal brand. And all of that at this point means you kind of have to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Either sometimes it's as simple as just like a bio photo for your website, but more, I guess, a headshot is what we call that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
In the non-website world. But a lot of times now it's like speaking on camera, being on Instagram. Sometimes it's having a whole photo shoot. Sometimes it's setting up your own photo shoot in your living room.
Yes.
So I thought you were the perfect people to have on and ask these questions.
Yes. Great.
Because you're who I go to when I have questions about this.
True. Yeah.
Literally.
We know the scoop.
Yeah.
Oh, we know the scoop already.
Yeah. Last time I was on a podcast as a guest, I made Katey help me pick out my outfit. I made Taylor come with me.
Yeah, it was great. I volunteered. I was like, I want to see this. I got you.
Yeah, so you're my go-to people, so I wanted to have the audience have access. So I know about your Infomedia story, and I'll tell the audience that in the intro, so they will have known it too. Yeah. But kind of say a few things about like how you got here, how you got this job, jobs you've had in the past, and I'll start with Katey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a chef.
Turned natural fit.
Natural fit, but it actually is a natural fit. I'll get around to that. But I was in a restaurant, and a production crew walked into the restaurant and asked if they could shoot a scene in the restaurant. And I got to know the producer well through the process, and I realized that my skills could easily transfer as a chef to a producer because it involves sort of the same personality type, like a person who is really good at multitasking, who's creative, who can think of other options, who can act quickly in a panic, or if something goes wrong, you can just throw it together. Like, all those things were easily transferable, so I started from the bottom and just started working my way up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've done a lot of behind the scenes, right? So producing, styling, just getting everything ready.
Yes. Food styling, producing, creative direction, basically anything you can think of. A producer wears more hats than anyone, I think, in the field.
Mm-hmm. So Taylor, you have a little bit of that experience too, the behind the scenes, but you also have some behind the camera experience. Is that right?
Yes. So I've pretty much stood in every position there is to stand in terms of production. So I've done commercial acting. I've been the subject behind the camera and memorizing lines. I'm a theater kid, so naturally I'm always like into performing. So I've held that position, and then I've also held the camera woman position. So especially with wedding videography specifically, but I've also done some other types of shoots as well in terms of just not managing or directing, but just being the camera person individually. And then I started at a marketing firm, and that you guys are familiar with, I'm sure.
Our sister company.
Our sister company.
Uptick
Yes,
Marketing.
Uptick
Shout
Marketing.
out.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
And then, so I was a film major at Auburn University, and I always knew that I wanted to be in production, and I always wanted to be at least near a camera. So that's what kind of introed me into this role, because I do have the eye for setting things up and somewhat directing, and then also, you know, I have the behind the scenes knowledge of what it's like to be in front of the camera and holding the camera. So
Yeah. Well, there's so many parts of this job that seem very glamorous and are very glamorous. Like, you get to go to the beach on a shoot. You get to expense meals sometimes, and and the product looks really glamorous. Can you tell us about some of the things that are maybe a little less glamorous?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're
I have a
like,
great
all of it?
example.
Yeah.
Taylor and I went on a shoot to Rosemary Beach, which you would think is like, ooh, so glamorous.
Yes.
We're on vacation.
Right.
But we were in the sun on the beach, running, walking, squatting, standing, in the water, out of the water.
Yeah.
That was our day. So when we go to an expensive meal, it's more like crashing and ordering DoorDash.
Yeah.
Because we
We're
can't
exhausted.
move from the day.
Yeah.
But the picture looks really great of
Yeah.
us standing on the beach and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks glamorous.
Yeah.
I will say I do feel like it looks glamorous when you see the final product.
Yeah.
Not understanding all the work that goes into the project prior to that.
Yeah.
So I was talking to someone recently, and I think they said every hour of production equals 1 minute of content. I don't know if that's accurate, but it feels kind of right. So I'm like, if you spend hours working and you're in the heat and you're getting every little motion perfect, just know you're going to put in hours of work for just a little piece of content.
Yeah.
But that content's going to be great.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a long time.
Well, I think that's actually true even when you're DIYing it.
Yes.
And so I work in a totally different part of the company that you guys do, obviously. You know that.
Yeah.
The listeners don't know that. But I've had a weird background of just like assisting on shoots. Like I used to work as a copywriter for a catalog, and their last copywriter went on all the shoots, so then I did too. So my job was mostly to carry stuff, clean things.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people when they want to get into the industry. I'm like, and I've also worked as a second shooter a lot just because I have a lot of friends who shoot weddings. So that is also just carrying stuff, staying out of the way, making sure people have water.
Yes.
So I think that's what people don't realize. They think they're going to get on set and do something like, you know, be behind a camera or whatever. And it's usually just like, if you can like schlep stuff around.
Oh, yeah.
Stay out of the way, stay quiet.
Yes.
I think that's usually what people want. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you're the doing the prep cook's job. You're not the chef.
You're not. Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the one mixing like food coloring into shortening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And scooping it as fake ice cream.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, as someone that's been in every position, the actor gets the most credit, or the product gets the most credit.
Yeah.
All the work is behind the camera.
Yes,
Like, that's
totally.
where things are happening. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I like what you said about like 1 hour is 1 minute of footage, because that's another thing when people are, I think, confused about whether or not they're hiring somebody like Infomedia to come and do a professional shoot.
Yes.
I think there is a lot of like, well, you know, why aren't you getting this? Or why didn't we get like one photo every minute? Or, you know, something like that. So I guess maybe talk about expectations, or what is a reasonable expectation to go into if you have like, say, maybe a day-long shoot. And I don't know if that's the same for video or photo, but so if somebody's like hiring a team to come, our team is obviously the best, but could be another team. But what is kind of like, what can you expect to happen and to kind of get out of that day?
Okay.
I think, Katey, you'll probably have more to say, but in terms of output or product that you would get from a day of shooting, so typically we say 80 photos maximum for a full day shoot, and that means 7 hours. The most your body will probably allow you, I guess you could say, given a lunch break in there too. But then also maybe one video, maybe a 90-second video. If you're doing some sort of social media content, you can do a couple of short videos. But over 5 minutes of content in one day, that's ambitious if you're going to put in some good editing into it. So
I agree with Taylor. So a conversation I have a lot with clients or people that sort of call me in to conduct an interview, for example, it's always at least a 45-minute interview for maybe 2 to 3 minutes of an actual delivery. Because you have to, the entire point about spending more time is when the editor goes in, you get more quality content compacted. You're just leaving off all the ums, the stops, the pauses, the breaks, and all that. So a lot of times clients are like, why do you have to be here for 8 hours? Like, these people are going to die down, you know?
Right.
That's way too long.
Yeah.
And it's not because of it takes 8 full hours. You have to account for people being people. Like, maybe someone needs more time to get comfortable. It's like when you walk into a shoot, there's always knowns, and then there's equally that many unknowns.
Right.
And that eats into time because on set, decisions have to be made and collaborated through.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't even think, even on the Localist, like, we had somebody who stopped filming because he had a runny nose. Like, it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, it's like, can I go to the bathroom? I'm like, yeah.
Go for it.
But that kind of thing happens. Or Katie and I have done a ton of interviewing. I know, Taylor, you've done some too. But it is like sometimes you just get somebody who is scared or doesn't want to be there or just is just very wooden on camera.
Right.
And it does take some time. Like, you are amazing at it. Katie, you get people to cry all the time. You're like the Barbara Walters of like,
it's
Birmingham area video. Yeah.
Thank you. I do take pride in the tears.
Well, as you should, because it's like, it's such an awkward thing. And to have somebody like, you have a mic in your face. There's a camera person, we do this podcast a little differently, but usually there's a person with a camera or multiple cameras.
Yes.
So to have somebody actually connect with you,
that's it.
So much that they aren't seeing all of that.
That's it. That's what I live for, is that connection where you forget you're on camera. Because I feel like when people say, I'm awkward on camera, you're not awkward on camera. You're paying too much attention to cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
If you will connect with me and just let us have a conversation and somehow drown out the background, that's where the real connection is.
Yeah.
Right.
So it doesn't happen a lot. But when it does, as a producer or interviewer, director, that's when you're in it.
Yeah.
Right.
What are do you have any tips as far as somebody who is interviewing? Like, say somebody's listening and they're a marketing manager for their company and they're having to shoot on their video and they're doing the interviews.
Yes.
So they're like, how do I get better content out of the people I'm interviewing? Do you have any tips for how to do that?
A lot of it's personality based, actually. And I feel like for me, I always try to connect with the person I'm going to interview before the cameras roll. I want us to have just even a greeting. Like, my only goal when I enter an interview is to make someone feel comfortable. And when they're comfortable, they feel seen and heard. So I make eye contact, I listen, I lean in when things are interesting. Because when they're engaged with me and making eye contact, like, that's when they are their most comfortable. So that's a great tip, is to just connect before you start.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
I love that. I agree totally. One thing I don't do on the Localist is, like, if the guests start, I try to kind of change the subject to something that we're not talking about.
Yes.
So they can kind of forget why they're there.
Yeah.
And also so that when I ask them that question in the podcast, it's fresh instead of, like, if they already told me, it always sounds stale when they tell me on air.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it like, but that connection's important.
Yeah.
And then eye contact for sure. I always do way more eye contact and way more head nodding.
Yes. Head nodding, yes.
Right.
Well, you can't talk sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't reply back.
It'll pick up the audio.
Yeah.
And then,
So it's hard to, like, connect with someone when you can't say, I know, I understand.
Yeah.
like, I get you.
Like, you have to just, like,
Or even the normal, like, like,
Right.
you can't say that because that comes up. So And then I also find that if somebody's supposed to have some life in their face, I smile at them more.
Yes.
To the point that it's very awkward as an interviewer.
Yeah.
But whoever you're interviewing tends to just echo what you're doing or mirror what
Absolutely.
you're doing accidentally.
100%.
So if they need to smile more, I'm usually like, okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And you also have to set the energy, like,
Yeah.
for what you're about to do. So
Yeah.
if it's sort of serious, like, you have to enter in a different sort of emotional state than when it's just something fun like
Yeah.
this.
Exactly. One thing that I do that works often is setting that individual in a setting that they're comfortable in mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, I'd say, Carrie, talk to me like you're just on your podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Or if there's a CEO, I'm like, talk to me like this is a team meeting.
Yeah.
And you're starting Monday off and you're giving people some input on, how the week's going to go.
Yeah.
Then they loosen up because they've been there before. They're like, I've never been in a production environment, but I have been at my job giving a or giving a speech to my team or, talking in front of people.
I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
What are some ways when you're doing a wedding that you kind of make people comfortable? Because I know that's a whole... Weddings are so interesting, and I feel like almost everybody in the industry has worked weddings at some point.
Yes.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. You kind of start there.
Same.
Including us,
You start there.
Yeah, there are a couple of different ways I do it, and one is through humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So always making sure you're doing more than your job. So you can hold the camera and you can just press record and then move on with your day. But then if you say, girl, that same thing happened to me the other day, it warms people up. They realize you're not here to just have a camera in their face.
Right.
You're here to connect with them. And also, this is going to sound very dramatic, but I'm serious, is serving the people that you actually shoot. And Katey does a good job at this. So she'll have snacks and waters and these sorts of things. With brides, I'm always doing more than holding the camera. I'm always fluffing their veil. I'm always saying, are you thirsty? Let me go get you water. Running, holding their bouquet. So people also want to feel like you're doing more than what you are paid to do. You're actually more like a friend rather than someone that's just trying to get content out of them.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that. And also it's a way to show them that you're showing them by what they can see that you're serving them and that you do a good job, because they're having to trust that the photos and videos are going to look good, but they can't know that on the day of.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, they're going to try to look at the back of the
They
camera.
will.
But,
Yes. Yes.
That's when you pull it away.
Yeah, exactly. Like, with weddings especially, I'm like, you're paying me to make you look good. Don't worry about this.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna give you an awkward photo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes people are awkward, though.
Yeah.
They can be awkward. Yeah.
But we're gonna edit those out.
Get rid of this.
For a wedding especially.
For a wedding,
Yeah,
especially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best day of your life. I think I'll give you some good content.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that those things, like when you know, like, I'm awkward, but they notice that, they took care of me, they gave me water, they noticed my needs. It's just showing them, oh, I can trust them in this other thing too.
Exactly.
Well, it's also like you have to have, honestly, like a heart for hospitality in some way.
Right.
Because hospitality is what makes people feel comfortable
Yeah.
around you in a setting or a place or whatever. So really it's just about that.
Yeah. Well, if you guys were hiring a photographer and somehow Infomedia was available and not available, for the kind of like a shoot for your business or something, so, or whether it's photo, video, what kinds of things would you look for? What would you look for on the website or in their materials, I guess?
Yes.
And then maybe also when you met with the people, like what are good signs and bad signs maybe?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say if I were looking at their photography, I would be looking at lighting and focus. Those are two things that are hard to fix in post. And if a photographer doesn't know how to get those things right, there will probably be other problems to follow. And then also in terms of personality, I would be looking for someone that knows how to direct. So people get awkward, like we're talking about. People get stiff. If they can't tell you, like Katey and I were talking about, posing, and it's like, loosen up, or, having someone loosen up, loosen their shoulder, put their shoulders back, lift their chin. If you can't direct the motion of the body on camera, you won't be able to capture a good photo, because every person is individually different too.
Yeah.
So what works with someone that's 6'4" might not work for someone that's 5'3" and got opposite color hair, right? There are different angles for different types of people too. So
Yeah. I would look for a photographer that had examples of specific things that I want for my business. Like photographers all have their own style, really. So that's what you're looking for, is what style represents me or my company. Furniture, for example, there are people that specifically take furniture pics. There's headshot photographers, there's food photographers. Like, I think it's best just to start with, what is my industry and do they have any examples? And how did those examples appeal to me?
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times if you're working with an agency or Infomedia or somebody like that, we'll have examples of different things that we do. And then, but you guys use different photographers for that,
We do.
right? So if we're shooting food, for example, we're going to probably choose somebody specific.
Yes.
When do you, like, absolutely recommend somebody have a stylist on set?
Ooh, food.
Yeah.
Food for sure.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. That's a dangerous one.
And people think, because it is most of the time an add-on, it's assumed that, oh, well, even from a restaurant, they'll say, oh, it'll come straight from the back to the plate. Okay.
Right.
It actually looks terrible. Yeah.
It tastes great, though.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But guess what I'm doing? I'm over there putting, like, makeup wedges underneath it,
yeah.
building it up.
Yeah.
But that's to get the shot. It's not that it's fake food, even. Could be, but even, like, straight from the kitchen, someone on the photography team needs to touch it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be the photographer.
Right.
It should be someone that knows how to get the right angles and how to style food.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people who work on set have like a tiny bit of styling experience. So if it's like we're doing a warehouse shoot or something.
Yes.
You guys already are going to, anybody who's on that shoot, on our team at least, is going to know, like, we need to move these things around. Or,
yes.
Taylor, you did a great little reel for us on styling a desk. Which actually, can you tell people what you said on, like, if you're having you're shooting your office, or even if you're just like doing your personal brand and you're shooting your own desk.
Right.
Like,
so typically what I tell people would be to take all of your pens, put them in a cup, take all the little tiny items, because we always say that if you're looking at a desk and you say it doesn't look cluttered, 9 out of 10 times when you take a photo of it, it may feel cluttered. So making sure that you're taking those little items that feel normal and putting them in one spot, stacking all your papers that include sticky notes into one little stack, and then also adding branded items to your table or your setup, so you can do a little coffee mug with the logo on it. I don't know, put a hat on with your logo on it. Like, add things that tell your user, in terms of, like, viewing a website, your user, what this photo is saying and where it's at and who are you and why are you in this photo, kind of too, a little more context.
Well, and I love those kind of tips. So those are things like, you don't need a stylist for every single shoot.
No.
Right now.
Like, because we would know, or a really good group is going to know some basics, you know? But then, there are some things that just take more styling. So,
well, a good example too, let's say you're a small company, maybe 2 or 3 people. And you might work remote. A great investment is to find a producer or team that can find you a location and a stylist for even a couple of hours. The difference in hiring a stylist in a space can get you probably 5 times the amount of pictures, because they know how to decorate corners, spaces, places. So you really can utilize the shoot more by investing in someone who can help you get the shots.
Which is so cool. I see you guys do that all the time, where it's like, I know that this was one location, but the way that you shot it, it looks like they were not necessarily all over town, because it's still one location can also make it look cohesive because the lighting is the same. And so that's actually helpful for, like, a website or something. But they look like looked like a conference room, but it wasn't a conference room.
Right.
So I think that's cool. Another favorite way that I like to use Katey around our office is, like, backgrounds, like a Zoom background.
Oh yeah, she's good at that.
I just, like, laid all my stuff on the table, and I was like, Katey, help me. And there were things that you noticed that I never would have noticed. Like, I had a bulletin board, and you were like, we need to get a really cute floral paper and put it on the bulletin board. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And it looks great.
And you did it. I mean, I trusted you, so I was just like, okay. But I was like, I don't see why that matters. And then it looks so good in the background. Like, if you've ever watched my Instagram reels, if I'm at my desk, I'm always in front of that background. And it all looks cohesive, but it was stuff I never would have thought about.
Right.
Just a splash of paper,
Yeah.
color, brand colors,
Right.
little things like that. When you start pulling them into play, they all play together,
Mhm.
right? So even if you have to sit at your computer and just take a picture of yourself to see what is around
Yeah.
you.
Right.
That's the way I think is the DIY, is just
Yeah.
keep taking the photo.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Keep
And-
going.
Yeah, and maybe take stuff away.
Yep.
Because I feel like we all try to be like, oh, this all matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just looks like a mess.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
in terms of camera work, there's
Mhm.
always levels to the depth of the actual shot.
Mhm.
So you have the human that's in front.
Yeah.
And then you have the chair that's right behind them. Then you have the shelving unit that's right
Mhm.
behind them. Then, at an extra layer, the window that's even further back, right?
Yeah.
So when people are looking at you, they're listening to you, but their eyes are also traveling
Yes.
throughout the setting as well. And if there's only one layer for their eyes to travel, you may lose engagement. You may lose opportunity to hold their attention for a little bit longer. So
I love that. Like on video,
Mhm.
I've never thought of that. And that
Yeah.
is like so interesting. And it's true because when you think of the
Mhm.
influencers or whatever that you are watching, either they have that in their setup or they're like walking or doing something
Yes.
else where
Mhm.
you are kind of interested in
Yes.
like what's going on.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so I love that. And I think that's worth doing if you are, especially if you're
Mhm.
like shooting your own reels.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to look super produced, I don't think. Like sometimes
Yeah.
authenticity is also very helpful.
Mhm.
But it's still like authentic. Like you
Mhm.
designed my background, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a mess and I don't fix it every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
But because I had some thought put into it,
Exactly.
it helps for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe let's transition to
Okay.
shooting like with a phone.
Mm.
So this is going to be probably more for maybe a DIY, somebody who has to totally DIY their business.
Right.
Like maybe somebody who
Okay.
like, I used to own a coffee shop. Katey used to own a restaurant.
Mhm.
Like, and you own your video company.
Yeah.
So we all are producing our own stuff in that case.
Yes.
Like most people, sometimes you hire a crew and that's fantastic.
Mhm.
But a lot of businesses just aren't that level.
Mm-hmm.
Or so it may be a super small business,
Yes.
or a marketing manager who only
Yes.
can afford a photo shoot once a quarter and has to
Yes.
shoot in between.
Right.
Or even somebody just building their personal brand.
Okay.
So I guess let's talk about shooting people, especially. So like for a reel or for Instagram,
Right.
like I guess I'm thinking mostly video for Instagram or for
Right.
TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Right.
short form video.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some ways if you're shooting other people?
Okay.
Are there any tips for like getting decent light? Should you shoot like in the hallway at your business? Is there
Yes.
another option? Like, what are some tips? And if it's easier to take Infomedia as an example, just so you have like a real
Okay.
example, you can. Or
Right.
I could talk about the shoot you and I did together.
yeah, oh yeah, yes,
That was.
Okay.
yeah.
I actually think that's the best example
Yeah,
for
yeah.
someone with an iPhone and a small business.
That's true.
Mm.
Yeah, let's
So, friends,
yeah. Mhm.
Carrie and I are friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both needed some content.
Mhm.
And so essentially we mapped out a little Birmingham circle,
Mhm.
Yeah. Cute.
little half day,
Mhm.
and we took turns with each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times you need your hands
Mhm.
overhead,
Mhm.
taking a picture down.
Mhm.
Or it's awkward to be in a coffee shop and you want a picture of you drinking coffee,
Yeah.
looking cool at the bar,
Yeah.
but you're
Mhm.
taking your own picture.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It's embarrassing. Yeah, yeah. And everybody at this point,
Yeah.
people know what you're doing, but
Right.
it's still like
it's very
It's
common,
still
Very
weird.
yeah.
but it's
yeah.
still more awkward. So
Mhm.
it's almost like you can get way more content because you don't feel awkward
Yeah,
because your
yeah.
friend's doing the awkward things.
Exactly.
and you have somebody to hype you up. It's
And
just like- 'cause
that.
some
Yeah.
of those
Yeah.
pictures were really great of you. Like,
Thank you.
like,
Okay. Katie's
Although
like,
you
went
took
to-
them.
well, that was really a compliment of me.
Actually,
Actually, I
great.
think that the reason a lot of those photos were good
Mhm.
was because we shot them at Pink Lantern,
yes,
which
Mm.
is really the light was great.
Yep.
it was.
They've definitely set up a lot of vignettes. 'Cause
Yes.
we got other good shots, but
Yeah.
like those were, I think, like really perfect of you.
100%.
Right.
So that's some of what, like
Yep.
you were saying earlier, is that there are different places.
Mhm.
So if you're in Birmingham, you can go to Pink
Yes.
Lantern.
Yes.
Another
have
benefit
a
of Pink Lantern, you will not be the only person shooting photos there.
No.
I love that. Everyone's
Everyone-
there getting
Yeah,
yeah.
content.
But I
Oh,
feel
no.
like there are places where
Yeah.
that's like normalized,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where they have
Yeah.
like a cool mural or certain things that can play with your brand
Yeah.
Right.
that
Mhm.
you can pop in and use for free.
Yeah.
Free staging
Yeah.
is basically what you're getting out of your iPhone and a trip around town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it also helped to have a little shot list. I
Yes,
think we had
for
like
sure.
every place,
We
get
did.
like for me, I think I'm doing like I'm usually posting about like writing or reading or something.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
it's like me with a coffee, me with a
Mhm.
book. I actually have like a page of my journal that's just like fake writing.
Yeah.
And it's
Nice.
just like I am writing fake stuff.
Yeah.
So that it can look like but if somebody's
Yeah.
sneaky and like zooms in,
Yeah.
they're not reading my actual journal.
They're looking too closely.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like, why are
yeah.
you doing
Yeah.
that?
Exactly. Like, so joke's on you.
Cool.
But I had like a little mini shot list that
Mhm.
every one of these places I want to get these shots, which
Yeah.
also helps when you're feeling awkward
Yeah.
to be like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know shot lists are super important on set
Yes.
for anybody.
So important.
So yeah, talk a little bit about that. Like, what is a shot list? Why does it matter?
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, a shot list is essentially a list of everything you're shooting
Yeah.
in that moment or that day
Mhm.
for your shoot. So that could mean a couple of labels to include would be, I always say, I feel like I say this like every other month,
Yeah.
but close up, long shot, medium shot.
Mhm.
Then you have the added layer of over the shoulder shot. That's what Katey's
Mhm.
talking about, where you get a little bit of someone's shoulder, but we're really focusing on what's in front of that person. Group shots, one-on-one shots, how many people would be included. So this is a long list. You can sketch it out or you can write it out with words, whichever one works better for you. And it allows you to just go down the list and check things off as you go. These are important because when you get into the moment, you may freeze up and say, okay, I know that I was thinking that I'm going to write a blog about coffee and I know I need a picture of coffee, but it's like, I didn't think beforehand about the different angles I could get or the different people I could have with the coffee in the specific photo to add some dimension to it. So if you have a list of it, it allows you to say like, okay, I got this perspective, I got this angle, and then that allows you to use the same setting in multiple different ways depending on the angle of maybe a piece of content that you may be using the photo for or a video. You know, it applies the same way for video. So
Yeah.
And it's also for the whole team. It's not just for the producer. It's for the client. It's for the photographer. It's for everyone because essentially when you're discussing a shoot, you have to have a priority list, right?
Yeah.
The shot list is the priority list.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that is great, wonderful. But if we stick to the list, we know it fits in our time frame and we know we can achieve the use for the photos.
Right.
Because that's the most important part is
Yeah.
the usage. You don't want a gallery sitting there that you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Everything should have a place on the shot list.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, it's just amazing how much you do need that on set.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even for something like a wedding where it's like you've got you've got to shoot the getting ready, you're going to
Right.
shoot the kiss, you're going to shoot the
Yes.
cake,
All
the
that.
bouquet. Like you have a kind of standard thing,
Mhm.
but then it's just making sure, and this is even more true if you're shooting a business or something that's not as regimented,
Mhm.
but like a wedding, it's like, which family shots do you want? Which
Yes.
one? And
Yeah.
it is crazy how crazy everything gets on set.
Yes.
At a wedding for sure, but then even like at a regular
Mhm.
shoot, and it is just like, oh no, like this was super important and we
Right.
totally
yes.
forgot.
Exactly.
Or
Right.
the client, like I'll go ahead and say a lot of clients are like, well, can we go ahead and shoot this while we're here? And it's like
Yes.
maybe, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe we're gonna lose some critical things
Exactly.
because we needed that time.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that it's important that if you are beginning or you're new to making a shot list, to emulate other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an Instagram account or there's a video, I know we're talking about photo and video. I say these things interchangeably, but just take a screenshot of that photo that you like and copy it.
Yeah.
It won't look exactly the same because
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
in a different setting, you're a different human
Mhm.
being.
Yeah.
But if you like the angle that you
Yes.
see there, until you get the hang of it, just be a copycat for a little bit. It's okay.
I do that same thing,
Yeah.
especially for if you have a shoot that's heavy on strategic posing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
that. Describe strategic posing.
That's a great
Strategic posing is like Taylor took my picture before here.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to exaggerate my leaning forward
Right.
and I'm going to exaggerate to create a triangle and it's going to feel really awkward in my body, but it's been planned because I know on camera that's
It'll
how
look
it
great.
looks best.
Mhm.
Right.
Those things need to be really thought through, especially like companies that have even equipment, large scale equipment. You have to think, I need you to stage this so I can figure out like what is behind it. Like what is behind this? We can't have things behind it. So it's always on the shot list to like strategically think about the angle for specific things because the equipment may not come off from this angle or you have to think those things through.
Something to keep in mind, too, is with camera lenses, they're always compressing or expanding. So when you feel like you're super far from your torso with your arm, the lens that may be being used could be bringing you closer together.
Yes.
It's almost like an optical illusion constantly. So even though it feels weird, you may see the footage and think, man, I felt so much more dramatic than what this is displaying. So
Or like a headshot tip that I really like, and every time they do it, I start it with, this is going to feel really weird. But completely like push your chin forward like this and then tilt it down and leave it. And you're going to feel like your head is frozen in place. And you're going to feel like your shoulders are so far back. But it elongates your neck. And especially for people that are worried about wrinkles and things like that, it creates a shadow. And so those things are actually really thought through on our behalf when it's time to take photos of people, things, places, whatever.
Can you talk a little more about angles in the body? Like you kind of put your hand on your hip, which makes a triangle.
Triangles.
Is that like, I think if you're sitting down, kind of like crossing your legs sometimes can make an angle.
Scooching to the end of the chair, posture. I think it's mostly about, so for example, when we take a headshot of someone, we always get the left and right side of their face to see for ourselves what their better angle is. So that way you can start, I'll invent another term, micro-angling people.
These are good.
Nice,
you're on a roll.
I coined that one. Where then you can really start like small movements. So when I take a headshot, because I know those things, I always start in position, couple shots, and then I start like moving my head around, moving my body around, because you do want to be loose. And I also feel like that makes me more comfortable when I can like, sometimes I'll stand up and just tell people to shake it off. And then flip your hair upside down, shake it off, and let's do a few more. And usually those are the best ones. Because you know now I've told you what the angles are and you feel uncomfortable. But when you shake it off and you can just do it yourself, you get the best results. The last photo is 9 times out of 10 the best one.
I also tell people don't squish. So that means don't squish your hands together. Don't squish your arms to your torso. Don't squish your legs together. I mean, rest your hands at a comfortable spot and just loosen up. Just make sure your arms aren't, your elbows aren't to your hips.
I'm paranoid. I'm like,
I know, I keep wanting to shake it out. Like,
shake it out right now. Let me flip my hair.
One of the photographers I used to shoot with, she always says, like, she's a wedding photographer, Kelly Cummings, we'll shout her out. She always is like fake laugh, like ha 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 ha. She does it and she has them do it, and then almost everybody starts really laughing afterwards.
100%.
It sounds so weird, being like ha 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 ha.
It's like a sneeze.
So
it's contagious, or a yawn, not a sneeze, but a yawn, and also, that gets people laughing at each other.
Exactly.
Because you're all awkward. You're all being so awkward at the same time.
You love making people laugh.
I do.
But it loosens them up. I've seen it happen. Even in my training, Katey will crack a joke or just break the ice. And you could just feel everyone just loosen up immediately. So.
And I ask people to do that for me. That's how I test what photographer I want to use. I say, tell me a joke.
She's into testing people.
That's if I laugh. If I laugh, you're in.
I was recording a video and the videographer told me to smile before and then start talking. So I would be like smiling and then start talking and then smile. And he's like, and also smile at the end. And I felt like so goofy, but it did make me seem happy. Like people were like, you seem so happy in that video. And I was just like, I mean, I was feeling super awkward actually. Okay, let's get to some audience questions.
Cool.
Because I forgot about them.
That's great.
Okay, so if you're listening, I asked for these questions on my Instagram. So follow me on Instagram if you want to submit your questions. Okay, so this is a little bit, we've covered some of this already, but I always look stiff and awkward in photos. Is that fixable, or is it just my face? Well, we haven't seen your face, so we don't know.
Yeah, well, it depends on your face.
Please email your face.
Yeah.
To...
give me a picture of that first. Yeah.
I think every person is, unless you're like Matt Damon or something, man, you're awkward on camera. You just are. It's an unnatural situation to be in. And I think there are ways that you can, but I don't think that is the person's job. I think the person shows up as relaxed as possible and confident as possible. The day of a photo shoot is not the day you do a different makeup style, a different hairstyle. Yeah. You decide you need a facelift that morning.
Right.
Do not come to the table with that.
Do it.
Like, come in and then trust that they will do their job.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to approach it.
Another thing is constant movement. So an example that I have is when I do wedding videography, the mother will be helping the bride get ready. And then I'll say, I need a shot of you getting her buttons, right? And then they'll grab the button and freeze. And I'm like, okay, this is a weird video. But if she were to just like actually button the dress and have that slow, take your time with it, have that natural movement. If you're getting photo, the photographer can up their shutter speed or just snap away and get those middle motions with the main motions. So there may be 8 deletable photos in there. But then you're going to get that one that's like, man, that looks natural. So
and the photographer should do a lot of photos that are happening while you move. So that way you do catch a natural pose. But it's just like happens to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even when I'm shooting pictures of myself, like doing selfies, I just take a lot and change the angle a lot.
Exactly.
Kelly actually always makes fun of me because she's like, I'm a photographer. I could take that picture. And I'm like, no, I'm my own muse. I need to see my face. So I can be like,
I hate these and I love these.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm fine in photos, but the second it's video, I completely freeze up.
Okay.
Why is that so much harder?
You know, like when you're on video, it's so bizarre because that is true. People even feel weird about saying their own name out loud. It's because you're not used to communicating out loud while viewership is tuned in. You know what I mean? So one thing I do is I always ask people to like say their name and title like 3 or 4 times.
That's
and so they get used to hearing their own like voice a little bit, and then you roll into like the easiest question and then the harder question. So I think it's goes back to the team making you comfortable.
I also think there could be some hesitation to mess up in there. I think when you become okay with messing up and then you also realize that there are so many editing softwares that can cut out all of your problematic statements or mess ups, you get a lot more comfortable because not every sentence, the video isn't hinging on every sentence you state. So if you are doing, for example, this podcast is more of a long form podcast, in this instance, we may say something that doesn't get cut out that we regret saying. Right?
For sure.
For sure. But in terms of social media content is you can splice, you can move, you can adjust. Even the sentence that you said before another sentence doesn't have to stay there. You can cut those into 2 separate pieces and then move them around where they make sense. So.
And even if you're doing your own social media editing, the editing software is so advanced now. It's pretty, like, I'm really not good with the tech of this kind of thing, but even I can do that. So you can even do that with your own stuff pretty easily now.
I agree.
And I also love Taylor's tip to think of something you are comfortable in and pretend you're in a meeting or pretend you're doing something else. That can help a lot. Okay, so I paid for a whole brand shoot last year, and I barely used any of the photos. What did I do wrong?
Okay, I got this.
Okay. You got this. I got some things.
Okay, planning. Let's talk in terms of a blog, right? If you plan your blog out and the content that you're going to be writing out for, say, that quarter or that year, you have a pretty good idea of what photos you need. If you don't plan out what the photos are for, you will probably get the wrong photos. And then you'll end up writing that content and realize, goodness gracious, I didn't get a picture of, if we're talking about coffee shops, a green tea. And I have a whole blog on green tea.
Yeah.
You have to plan according to what your goals are for that year or what you're outputting in congruence with the actual. Yeah.
Gotta know where it goes.
One of the examples is with Infomedia. We used to do shoots primarily for social.
Yes.
So we were getting like fun stuff, seasonal stuff. And now we're shooting a lot for our blog instead, which are almost all our blogs are about something that happens on a computer. So we're like, we need more pictures of someone using a computer.
Yes.
So we did a whole shoot,
a whole
as
day.
you guys know.
A whole day.
People
using
phone, computer.
It's great.
But guess what? We'll use those more than anything.
Right.
You know, it's like, if you know what the goal is, where it's going to live, you shouldn't have a lot of photos that you don't use.
Right.
One of my things I see a lot is people wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Because I think I have a lot of thoughts on this because I'm on the editorial side usually. So I'm usually the one who gets a lot of photos.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't use these. Not from you guys. We can always use yours.
That's not true.
I don't
But
think so.
like a small business, they're a small brand that invests in a shoot and they go to one place and then they're wearing the same clothes.
Yes.
You can't have a whole website full of you wearing the same blazer.
Agreed.
Or a whole social media feed.
Yes.
Like when Katey and I went to shoot,
Yeah.
we had different blazers. We didn't change our whole outfits.
Right.
But we changed our looks a little bit, like different glasses, different blazers.
Accessories.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that it looked enough like a different day.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of thrift shop that way, where it's like, you know, wear your exercise shorts and a tight t-shirt, and then you can try on over. It's all about like layering, like start very base, jeans, tee, add vest, take away vest, add blazer. Like it can be really simple. And that's something we can always help with. If anybody ever asks us, is styling.
Yeah.
That's styling essentially.
And if you're doing your own photo shoot, I think just pack a few different looks. And that's super helpful. Because honestly, if you come to a shoot with me, I shouldn't be doing a shoot, but if I were doing it, and you only had one thing and you're like, is this okay? I'm probably going to be like, yeah. Like,
exactly.
But if you have four things, I'm going to say like, that's better.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I
Or
agree.
let's swap this out.
Right.
Especially when it comes to color, because a lot of times I know way more color details and theories than like a normal person who just happened to grab a shirt.
Yeah.
And it might not be the best for them.
Yeah.
Right. I will also say is don't pack clothes that you haven't worn or don't feel comfortable in. So I think that whole I get stiff on camera problem that we're having is probably because in your day-to-day life, you are presenting as one thing, and then you're like, let me take it up two notches for this video shoot.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to feel out of your element because this is maybe who you are, but it's not your everyday look and feel, and you may feel uncomfortable in your skin as a result. So
Yeah.
I agree.
I also see people shooting for their brand and having something that they cannot show, like they're in a kitchen and they're not wearing hairnets, or they changed their branding and it's an old truck,
right,
or something like that. We have actually seen a lot of those through the years. Less now that we have an internal photo department. Is different.
Right.
We used to use freelancers, and a freelancer, it's not their job to tell you,
exactly,
are you sure that your truck is the right truck?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're going to do that for our clients, but not everybody is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need new photos, but I have basically zero budget for a big shoot. What is the bare minimum I can do that still looks professional?
You go.
You
Because you're a photographer, so you can sort of talk about time.
Yes. Okay. If I were to give a starter kit to anyone, I would say technically you don't need a light. You have the sun. Like you don't need to buy a light if you cannot afford a light at this moment. I would say find a solid wall. If this is a product shoot, if this is an environmental shoot, find a brick wall or find some sort of depth setting with some depth like I had described earlier. And then I would say grab your iPhone, and I'm becoming more and more of a believer in the iPhone because obviously their cameras are getting more complex. They allow for more depth as well. And one thing that I always try to keep in mind is lighting on your iPhone. I do believe that the lighting settings that the iPhone naturally has are a little less conducive for the professional look that people typically go for. So I always say just lock your exposure and then drag it down so you can edit the photo and raise the lights and the colors and things in whatever editing software that you're using after. But you really just need a setting, you need a phone, and then the sunlight. Don't do it at nighttime. That's when you get that grainy kind of weird looking image. But everyone has the equipment at their fingertips at this point as of 2026. So.
And then typically, if you're shooting people, they're looking toward the sun.
Right.
Don't have it behind them.
Yes.
Precisely.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you want to look like an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
A little backlight never hurt anyone.
Yeah. Well, a professional photographer can make that shot look really great.
Right.
Yes.
But like for me, I mean, I used to actually like teach darkroom in college, but I didn't become a photographer because I don't understand light. Like, so I need a cheat sheet to be like, which honestly, photography is almost all understanding light. That's basically what it is.
100%.
Yeah. For sure.
But I can say like, oh, I don't really know why, but I need everybody to face this light. Or if I were shooting in a building, like I wouldn't shoot in our hallway because there's no sunlight. I would be like, let's walk across the street to Day Soul because there's a lot of natural light there.
I agree.
And I can just cheat it and it's going to look a million times better.
Right.
Well, I learned from the team, like as soon as I walk in to do a scout, I find the rooms with windows.
Right.
Yeah.
So do the same.
Yeah.
Find the room with a window and do yourself a shot list.
And
like,
turn the overhead off.
Yes, turn the overheads off. Yes, always.
No big lights.
Yeah,
but I think if you
lights.
plan it, like, or connect with someone, ask them if you could use their space and, you know, like get a little gimbal or something like that for your phone. I think you could really be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. A lot of it's just trial and error.
Yeah.
Seeing what works. I love the tip of getting example shots because then it is like you kind of know the look, but it's hard to break it down when you're not looking at it.
Right.
Yeah.
I even think when you're hiring a photographer and doing a shot list, if you have a very specific idea what you want, it can be very helpful to share, like, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for, instead of just describing it with words.
Oh, I love a shared Pinterest board or Instagram. Send me inspo. Like, I love inspo for anything that we shoot, so it's great.
And being as specific as possible with your shot list is important. There's this concept of, like, for example, if I were to ask for a over-the-shoulder shot, and if I'm directly behind you versus if I'm pointing my camera over your shoulder but kind of at an angle up, it gives two different ideas. If I'm shooting upward, it's somewhat like a dominant perspective. I'm an oversight. That's the perspective that the photo is giving. If I'm directly behind you, I'm a creeper that could be just like peeking over, like spying on you. You know, it gives the person that's seeing the photo a different perspective on what they are viewing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as a good side, which you did mention, and how do I figure that out? I happen to know.
I'm not going to say well, some people may have a good side. I mean, I have a side I prefer.
Yeah.
But it's just personal preference. But I will say, from behind the camera, just as a general observation, it has to do with where your hair parts. Like, for example, my hair's tucked on one side, so I would rather show this side because there's more of my face than showing, like, mostly hair.
Right.
And I think it's more about angle, not good side, bad side.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think it also depends on where the light source is.
Yes.
So your good side could be that side, but if it's dark over here, it may make your face look a little bit different. So I think that's where the test shots come into play, where even our photographer here at Infomedia, he's got a computer set up that it's like, hey, look at this. And then if we don't like this, point your feet in the opposite direction and let's see if we can get that look that you're going for since the lighting is over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think moving around, like you talked about before, is a really good tip.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we could go on forever.
We can.
I also think you guys should have your own podcast.
We should.
We should. Instagram account. I mean,
exactly.
personal branding. We'll have to get into that next time.
Sure.
Well, I was thinking today, I was like, what is a good quote I could say?
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. Like on the way here. And I was like, the only thing I would say is be as organized in everything you can, but also be equally open to chaos. And that's a producer's job.
It is
to be in that place in the center of that.
I think pre-production, super organized.
Right.
Yes.
Day of production,
yes.
you have
Never
to roll
goes
with
You
it.
have to roll
You
with
have
it.
to.
It's gonna rain.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna-
Oh my gosh.
So many
That's
things.
a whole nother episode.
It is.
Rain
So
alone.
many things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody's listened to this and they're like, how do I work with you guys?
Yeah.
Tell them how to work with you. Or follow you on any kind of social media if you want.
Well,
You should go. You can email us. So there are
You
two
can.
ways to get in contact with us. That would be through infomediastudios.com, where is our actual website where you can view our portfolio and a little bit of work. Or you can also email us at Katey@infomedia.com or Taylor@infomedia.com. And we can just start with a conversation if you're looking for any services.
Totally.
We can customize things to what you may need, if it's for social media, your website, or anything else. If you want a podcast like this, we can make that happen for you. So
I love it.
yeah.
What kind of budget would you say like you need, like $5K, $10K, $15K? Where would you start in that range if somebody's like, I don't know if I can even afford working with you guys at all?
I would say you need to probably have $1,200.
Okay.
That's good.
That's lower than any of them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like when I said
Yeah.
you could do 2 hours,
Yeah.
if you invest into someone really good for 2 hours, the product that you get in return is worth the investment. And it may not be but 20 photos. But if you know where those 20 photos are going and they are all
good.
perfect, then that's worth more money than hiring someone less expensive.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, do you want people to follow you on social?
Yeah.
Okay. LinkedIn, Instagram?
I'm on
TikTok?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn.
But don't judge my LinkedIn. I feel like when you say you're on LinkedIn, you're like, I mean,
You can
I'm
judge
on
mine.
there.
I put way too much work into my LinkedIn. So Taylor Davis, LinkedIn.
you can look for her LinkedIn. I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram at Katey L. Beck.
And we'll put links to all this in the show notes.
Great.
So
Oh, perfect.
people, if you're listening while you're driving or doing the dishes, you can please be safe and look in the show notes later.
Yes, there we go.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
This is great.
So if you like this podcast and you want to meet Katey and Taylor or me in person, Localist Lab is a great place to do that. So Localist Lab is the in-person version of the Localist podcast. We have it every month on the third Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. at Saturn in Avondale. We have free Ladybird tacos from our sponsor, Ladybird Taco. We have free coffee, and we really deep dive into a topic that is relevant for small business owners. And we also just hang out, so you can meet all of us there. We're there every month. I would love to see you. Tickets are free, and you can grab them through the link in our show notes. The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen. Our showrunner is actually Taylor Davis, who you know from this podcast. Our outreach manager is Hannah Cragen, and our producer in the studio with us today is Emery Lambert. Thank you so much to Infomedia for sponsoring the podcast and making everything we do here possible. And whether you're buying from a local business or running one, thanks for all you do to make our community stronger every day.